starts with this.
The lawnmower.
Revenge!
Oh yeah guys, Seneco here. Welcome to a brand new, different type of video. This time I am going to be doing a couple of tier list videos. Now these have been done for a while, but the only reason why I'm doing mine, these ones, is because they're really quick, really easy. For those that watch, or at least know anything about Call of Duty Zombies, these are most of the maps, because it's missing Nuketown, which was a pre-order for Black Ops 2, and that'd probably be in the A rank. Alpha Omega, which would probably be down in E or F, and then Classified, which would probably be a B or a C, probably. But yeah, apart from that, these are all the maps, I'm pretty sure, unless there might be one I'm missing. But apart from that, here we go. Okay, so Nukt. It's the original map. It has to go up there just for the pure reason of it was the map that I grew up playing, and if you want to get good at zombies, play Nukt, because even though it is really slow and it takes a while to get going, if you play Nukt, it'll take you'll be good at zombies, guaranteed. Fucking, I got to round 40, instantly good. You know, I was good at everything else. Verrückt, it'll go up in A because, again, and most of the World at War maps will be in the higher too, because Verrückt, it was the scariest map ever created. It's genuinely terrifying, especially back in World at War days where the guns weren't as good and it was a lot more difficult to survive. The only thing I didn't really like about it was so difficult. It was so difficult, and they had these things called Verrückt sprinters that they were the only zombies that could run faster than you could walk, and it was so terrifying. Shinonuma, again, A, because honestly, it's probably the least notable of all the World at War Zombies maps, just because it was creepy, but it wasn't the scariest. It wasn't, Nukt was the first, basic map. I think the only really thing it's known for is the Flogger, but it's still a great map. I reckon it's one of the most underrated maps. And then Darice has got to be all the way up there. It's my favorite map of all time, favorite song, best map layout, and the Giant remake, which also isn't on here. It's basically the same, just minus the song. Minus the cool song, but yeah, that definitely has to be up there. Kino de Toten, A, amazing map, but it's pretty damn easy. It's really easy. I'd say that's the easiest map ever created. I'd go out on a limb and say Kino de Toten is the easiest map that's ever made. 5, I think that's gonna have to be probably the first C, just because I'm very indifferent on it, and I kind of want to put it higher, but it was so difficult. And I might rework these after I put a couple of these, like a couple of the later ones on, but 5 was so hard back in the day. It was the hardest map ever to come out, because it was so tight like Verrückt, but the problem was there was also the Pentagon Thief you had to worry about, and you often spent so many points trying to get to the power that you often didn't have enough points to get the box. You didn't have enough points to open any doors. It was honestly pretty mental, but yeah, so it has to go pretty, C, because it's got some great elements like the characters and everything, but it's also got some pretty bad elements. Ascension is I think I'm gonna have to put it at B, just because the thing is, I like the map just as much as I like Kino, and they're both very easy maps, but the difference is with Ascension that there's the added difficulty of the monkeys that come in every 5 rounds, and you would think, well, if it's added difficulty, then wouldn't that mean it's better since it's easy? No, because the monkeys past a certain round, you need the Ray Gun Mark 1. If you haven't got the Ray Gun Mark 1, you're not going to be able to kill them. And then they take all your perks and they kill you. I did a stream where I got to like round 35, I think, or like close to round 40, and they were getting so difficult to kill because I didn't have the ray gun. You can't kill them with a thunder gun. The ray gun Mark II, you have to be extremely accurate with. So it's like, it's just Call of the Dead straight E. Characters were good, but that's about it. Map was too big, too many doors to open. George Romero was a cunt. He was a cunt of a villain. Well, a mini-boss, I should say, not really a villain. He would always get in your way whenever you're trying to, run around. The traps weren't that memorable. There wasn't really a good song. It was just too big, too difficult. Shangri-La. Now, this and the next map, Moon, which I'll get to in a minute and I'll explain why, would have been straight Fs if you'd talked to me back in the day. But now, I'd probably say they're closer up there. Just because when I used to play Black Ops 1, it was horrible. They are horrible. Shangri-La especially is a horribly laid out map, too skinny, too narrow. There are no real areas to train or even camp, really. But it was really, but the thing that put it up for me was when I played the Black Ops 3 version, because you were allowed 3 hits instead of 2. The zombies didn't double swipe you. So I was managed to get to higher rounds, and I could kind of see the good points when it was it made it a little bit easier. But so that would have been straight F. And then I'm going to put Moon probably in C. Oh my god. Welcome back. Just had to take a bit of a break there, but here we are. So, got all these maps. Where am I up to? Okay, so I'm up to Moon. Now, I was explaining about Shangri-La, how it's it's so small. It's it's a very badly laid out map. Moon, on the other hand, is even worse, because even in Black Ops 3, I still don't like it. Actually, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna put it down here just because it's a horribly laid out map, and it was the first map where it's like, there was something other than Pack-a-Punch that you needed to do to keep the map open, and that's the most annoying part. Juggernauts, difficult to get, everything is just, it's so annoying. Transit, I have to put, I'd say, like, because Transit was the first map for Black Ops 2. It's in one of the bottom 2 categories. I'd probably even have to put it in F, just because it was horrible. It was bad. It was really bad. But there was only one redeeming quality in that, and that was, if I got a bunch of friends together, if you play it with friends, it can be quite fun. You just like have bullshitting around. You know how bad it is, but you're just kind of bullshitting each other. But that's really the only way. You can't play this map legitimately and have fun. There is no way. Actually, nah, I'm gonna move it up. I'm gonna move it up to E for the basis that there was also the survival maps included in that. And I'm gonna count that as like Transit / Green Run, where it had the survival, town survival, farm survival, stuff like that. So I'll put it in E, because it's alright. Now, Die Rise is a straight F. It's not fun. Not a good map, horribly laid out, difficult to learn, it's not a good map. Black Ops 2 was where zombies started to feel like a real chore. It felt like an absolute chore to play. And Die Rise is a perfect example of that. Mob of the Dead, I'm gonna put in E because it's an amazing map, good map layout, actually, yeah, I'm gonna put it in D because good map layout, good setting, just the game mechanics of having to use the afterlife for me were horrible, and that's why I don't mind the map, but I've never played it more than like once. Like, I go back and I play it, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm done with this map, and I go and play something better. Buried, I'd actually have to put up here because it's definitely a good map. It's probably the best map apart from Nuketown in Black Ops 2. And there's something that I love about it that other people don't see. Like, people are saying it's the easiest map, but that's only if you get the buildables. But the buildables are difficult to find, like where they are, like how to build them. And you know, then there's the Witch's House, which is kind of annoying because you lose like a bunch of points if you're not careful. The maze is a little annoying, but apart from that, it's mostly a fun map. Good wonder weapons, you know. I think it's pretty fun. What's the next map? Okay, the final map of Black Ops 2, Origins. Final map of Black Ops 2, Origins. I think I'm gonna have to put that in... It's definitely one of the lower... Again, you'll find a lot of these maps down the bottom are gonna be in the lower category, because most of the older maps were the better ones. But Origins... Wow, I'll stick it down here, because it introduced the premise characters. The map was huge, which was, you know, not the best thing in the world. You know, it was not that good. Like, the power, the things you use for the power, the staffs were convoluted. The Easter egg made it stupidly convoluted and overcomplicated, and just overall just not a fun map for me. Shadows of Evil, the first map of Black Ops 3. Least favorite map ever created. I can't even finish a game of this. Literally, I load in and I feel depressed. I hate this map with a passion. It's one of the only maps that like Die Rise, I'll give a chance every now and again. I'll come back and I'll say, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on it. I'll try it again. But Shadows of Evil, I know that I'm gonna hate. When I got Black Ops 3, I got gifted to it by my lovely girlfriend Bina. I immediately was like, nah, I can't do this, because that was the only map that came with the game. I was like, no, I have to get the DLC because I hate this map. I need something good to play. Dreisendracht. Now, Dreisendracht, I'm going to put is the second C, because there are a lot of good things about it. It's a nicely laid out map, if not a little bit too complicated, which was a big problem that I forgot to mention about Shadows of Evil, was it was way too overcomplicated and couldn't see, like, I couldn't tell the difference of each of the areas. I could not tell the difference. Dreisendracht was very similar. It could be a little bit complicated, especially when you went inside the castle. But there was an amazing training area, a good trap that you could use to kill the Panzer. You know, Pack-a-Punch wasn't difficult to unlock. Overall, it was a pretty decent map, honestly. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just decent. Zetsubo, I'm going to put down here with E, because it was really difficult. It's an interesting map. Most of the maps in Black Ops 3, they have amazing settings. Even in Black Ops 4, they have amazing settings. Really, like, you know, all of them do, but like Black Ops 3, I think, was really where they started to hit their stride, because they had Mob of the Dead and Origins, which were, you know, good. They were great settings, but then Black Ops 3 is really where they started to hit their stride. And Zetsubo it would be honestly one of my favorite maps. It's one of my favorite maps settings-wise, but then there are all the game mechanics that bog it down. The mini bosses aren't fun, overcomplicated, Pack-a-Punch. It's not a map unless it's not a map I play unless there's someone else with me. Goro Krovi. There's one. I think I'm gonna put this up in B, because it's not a map that I particularly go back to all the time, but it's definitely refreshing. The Pack-a-Punch isn't too difficult. It's still a little bit convoluted and overcomplicated, but it's not too hard. And overall, it's not even that. It is a little bit confusing, but not that confusing. Raygun Mark III made its debut in this game. They brought back the PPSH, which is always fun. So yeah, I honestly, genuinely, I think it's my favorite, or my second favorite map in the Black Ops DLC lineup. And that's because Revelations, the final map, has to go up here. I don't know why people dislike it so much. Because of course there's the whole, the ending was too, it was very underwhelming, which I understand that it was just that if you go through and you play Revelations and you complete it, it's basically a massive cycle. And a lot of people were very upset about that. But I genuinely think it was a good way to show that, like, you know, it's all contained and that everything happens. And I genuinely like the map. It was a greatest hits. I personally would have preferred if they'd put more maps in the game, you know, had, you know, Verrucht at the end, you know, they had Verrucht and maybe, you know, I don't know, Verrucht and, let's say, Shinonuma on one end. They had Nukt for where you go to Pack-a-Punch and where Jug is. You have Shangri-La, Drak. You have Mob of the Dead and Origins. You know, it would have been cool if they added more of these maps in there. I genuinely think it was one of my favorite maps to look at. Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead I'll put in C because it was better than Mob of the Dead. It was definitely better than Mob of the Dead. There wasn't that stupid game physics, game mechanics thing. Map layout was, again, the same, and it had an amazing map layout. 2 power switches, which was interesting. I didn't really agree with it, but it was interesting. The Warden is, you know, one of my favorite bosses ever, and that's, you know, it was interesting. Yeah, like I said, Alpha Omega isn't in here, and there won't be any future maps either. So we go on to the Chaos storyline. Oh, also, I would just want to say, Blood of the Dead ending, saddest thing. Because that's one thing is that, like, you know, I usually watch the ending cutscenes even though I don't go for the Easter eggs myself. But the Blood of the Dead ending really had me fucking, like, that had me sad. That had me really sad. And I'm kind of angry that in Alpha Omega, none of the characters remember. It's like, I don't remember escaping the jail, and it's so sad because it's like you won't remember like the proper Richtofen, and it's sad. But anyway, onto the Chaos maps, and I'm gonna start off with 9 because I was supposed to do these in order, but for some reason Ancient Evils first. But 9, I'm putting up here with these two. Because when Black Ops 4 came out, I didn't have high hopes. Because Black Ops 3, apart from the revamped maps, the throwback ones where they remastered all the World at War and Black Ops 1 maps and Origins, most of them were shit. Again, Zetsubo, Shadows of Evil, most of them were pretty bad. Or at least I was indifferent towards them. But Black Ops 4 came out swinging because it was classified that I was kind of indifferent towards. Blood of the Dead I was indifferent towards, but still decent. But then 9 hit it out of the park. Amazing bosses, really simple map, which is what I really enjoyed, is that it wasn't an over-convoluted map. I was like, oh, it's going to be over-convoluted and it's going to be stupid. No, it was actually a really well laid out map. A bunch of good training areas. Zombies were fun. The special weapons were fun to use. A great introduction for these. Well, not really an introduction because technically it's Voyage of Despair, which I'll get to. But it was a great introduction for me of these characters because that was the first map I played, and it was genuinely a great map. Genuinely an amazing map. Now we'll go on to Voyage of Despair, which I'm gonna have to put it again in C because it was... Actually, no, I'll put it in D because it was slightly on the negative side because I wanted to like the map. It's a Titanic. You know, it's a really mysterious event, and it was like... It could have been so cool. It could have been a really cool setup, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And they made everything look the same. you know, I couldn't tell where I was on the map. I couldn't tell where the box was. There was only like 2 good training locations. It was just genuinely like, it wasn't, again, it wasn't like it's a bad map like Shadows of Evil Die Rise. They're just bad maps. It was just a boring map. Like, it wasn't like I would get on, I'm like, what? I was like, what do I do here? Because there's like, and the under ship levels, like the hull levels were even worse with that. Dead of the Night, straight F, over convoluted. Again, you hear me say that a lot, but that's how Zombies has become nowadays. It's so over convoluted, so retarded, and just not fun in the slightest. It's not fun at all. And that's what this map is. Me and my friend, we come on and we're like, oh, we're gonna give Dead of the Night a try, and we just can't. We can't. We try to get Pack-a-Punch open, but there's so many stats. Like, look into this charge up the crystal, look into it. And then we have to go to this area and survive in this certain area, and it's like, and then we have to do that 3 more times, and it's so bad. It's so bad. And it's a shame because the characters, you know, are decent. They're decent characters, I feel. Which is, I genuinely like them. I think they're good. And then there's Ancient Evil. So yeah, this is the final one, Ancient Evil. Where do I put it? Honestly, again, it's in the bottom few, but D or E? I'll put it at D, just because it's an okay map. It's finely laid out. Again, overcomplicated, but it's. We figured out Pegasus on our own. We didn't have to like look up a tutorial for it, which is my thing. If you have to look up a tutorial for opening Pack-a-Punch, that's bad. Pack-a-Punch, how to turn the power on, Pack-a-Punch are 2 things that you should not need a guide to do. You should not have to think, what do I do now? It shouldn't have steps that are so convoluted. But, you know, anything else, building a shield, you know, Easter eggs, stuff like that, they can have tutorials, that's fine. They can have those convoluted steps, that's fine, because you're out to do something. But not Pack-a-Punch. Pack-a-Punch is a core element of the game. And the only really thing that me and my friend had trouble with was we didn't know how to open the Eagles cages, which you have to drop cages with like these birds in them, and then you have to shoot them with the special weapon, but we had no idea how to do it. So we were sitting there with these eagles in the cages, and we're like, what's going, what do we do? Are we like, do we have to, how do we open them? So apart from that, it's a decent map. It's well done as far as the map layout and the aesthetic, but again, just little over convoluted, little stupid, and that's why it's there. So yeah, that's my tier list for the Zombies maps. Yeah, that's my tier list for the Zombies maps. And I'll try and find one more.